Hi Raw Kids, it's great to be back with you at the beginning of a new year, and we are starting this new year with a curriculum called Sweets. Taste and see that the Lord is good. So guys, I wonder how many of you can remember the very first time you had chewing gum. Because chewing gum isn't something you get to have until you're a little bit older, because it's a little bit tricky. It's sticky and it can make a mess, and if you're too little and you think it's just a sweet, you might swallow the whole thing. And so you have to wait and you anticipate, what is it going to be like? Will it be nice? And then you get to put that chewing gum in your mouth and you chew and all these flavors start to come. Maybe it's spearmint, maybe it's strawberry. And you can try and blow a bubble even if it isn't bubble gum. And you just enjoy this amazing taste. But then something happens, doesn't it? Those of you that have tried chewing gum and enjoy chewing gum, you will know that no matter how much money you've spent, after 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, that gum starts to lose its flavor. You can't taste spearmint anymore. You can't taste raspberry or whatever is your favorite flavor. It ends up flavorless. It ends up just being gum in your mouth. And if you keep on chewing, you end up with a sore jaw, and that's about all. And so you throw it away and you look for the next thing that you can have that you think is going to make you happy. And children, every day, people are searching for things that they think are going to make them happy. Maybe it's money, maybe it's power, maybe it's being famous, maybe it's having a bigger house, or the best job, or the fanciest car. Maybe as children, they're not those things. Maybe it's the latest Nintendo Switch, or the Marvel Lego, or something I've just heard about, Squishmallows. Maybe those are the things that you think are going to make you happy. Or it's lots of sweets, or chocolate, or your sport, or the best program on TV that you have just been waiting and waiting for the new series, and it comes out. And you think it's going to make you happy. But after a while, like the gum, it loses something. It loses that joy that it gives you. And it becomes boring, or it becomes what everyone else's has, and you don't have satisfaction in it. You know, there was a man, and you'll have heard of him, his name was King Solomon, and he was the wealthiest man in the world. So if he was one of you, he would have had the latest of everything. So many toys, so much wealth, so much gold. He had a palace that was amazing. You're going to read about him just now in your classes. But he had everything that money could possibly buy. And do you know what he said about all of that stuff? You'll read it in the book of Ecclesiastes. He said, meaningless, meaningless, meaningless. Everything is utterly meaningless. Now, why would he say that? He had gathered around him everything he could have possibly wished for. Land and palaces and people and things and food and wine and everything. And he came to the conclusion it was meaningless. You see, children, the reason is we were all born sinners. And we are separated from God by the sin in our lives. And that leaves a really big empty space inside of us. And that's the space we try and fill with all these things. And you'll have chatted about what things you can try and fill that hole with. But what we see from Solomon, who had everything he could possibly imagine, that it all meant nothing. So what does mean something? The only way we can fill that emptiness inside of us is by thinking really carefully about what we love. what we give our time to, what we invest our lives in, and what will bring us satisfaction. When we seek after God and we seek after His words, we will find that slowly we become filled with the satisfaction of knowing that we are created to do what God has made us to do. You know, His words we find in His Bible, and His word is powerful. With the words of God, the whole of the earth was created. The skies and the heavens were created, the birds of the air, the fish of the sea. So when God creates through His word, when He created our lives, He created them for a purpose. And when we go to Him and say, what are the things you've created me for? He will guide us and He will direct us and He will show us. You know, when I first started working many years ago, when I was still 18, 19, I went to work in a very fancy hotel in London. And it was quite exciting. It was one of the best hotels in the city of London. And it had very important guests come to stay. We had Michael Jackson come to stay. We had presidents come to stay. And everyone there would run around, making everyone feel very special. But over the years, I realized that all these people that would come to stay were very rich and they were very spoiled. And they didn't care about anybody else. They cared about what they wanted. They would walk past people sleeping on the streets of London and go and pay thousands of dollars for a room for one night. And I slowly realized that this was empty. Everything I did left me feeling empty. And so for the last 20 years, I've invested my life in helping children to find homes where they are safe, where they are valued. I've enjoyed and loved teaching children that they are known by God who created them, that you have a purpose, that you are loved, that you are valuable, not because you've got enough money to stay in a fancy hotel, but because God made you in His image. And so, children, I really want to challenge you to get rid of all the things in your life or thinking about the things that you think are going to bring you happiness, but eventually end up just making your jaw ache and making you feel, I don't feel that great anymore. And ask God, what are the things that you can do with your life that will bring happiness, that will bring you satisfaction, because it's the things that will be helping others to know Him. Well, enjoy your time now with your friends in your classes and discussing more about what we've talked about.